Welcome to Feminine Founder, where we talk all things recruiting, hiring, business, and entrepreneurship. Today, I have Lindsay May with me. Lindsay is the founder of the Happy Marketing Company. She is an SEO expert and the podcast host of the Happy LeadHer podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to chat with you today.
So I'd love to hear the story behind your entrepreneurial journey.
Okay, so this started almost exactly a year ago. We're in February 2024, and I had been in corporate for about 13, 14 years, and I loved it. I climbed the ladder. It was like my dream job. I had all the things, but it just felt like I was missing something, and I started to get really burned out. I started to work, 10, 12-hour days, and I started to work weekends and nights, and I was just like, there's got to be more for me out there, but I was so scared to go for it. And I feel like a lot of us, kind of have that moment where we're like, am I going to go for it, or am I going to stay here, be unfulfilled, and do what's kind of normal, working in corporate, all the things. And so I was actually given a little bit of an ultimatum, because in my last job, I was traveling once or twice a month, and I was like, this just isn't working for me anymore. I have a home, I have 2 dogs, I have a life, all these things. And so I had a conversation with my boss, and she was like, you're going to be traveling more this year, so you have to decide if you want in or if that's not for you. And I think she was actually surprised when I was like, you know what, I'm going to choose myself. I have to go on a new path and figure out what's out there for me. And I just can't commit to traveling every single month or, every other week. And so I initially was looking for another full-time job. And then I realized like, maybe I could start a business. And so in February of 2023, I guess, I launched the Happy Marketing Co. And I was scared out of my mind. I had no idea what I was doing, and I'm still learning every day. But, I just felt like I had all this marketing experience, and I thought if I could just find one client at a time and just start making connections and get out there, then maybe I can do this for a business. And almost a year later, I'm still doing it. I'm still learning all the things, but I'm really glad that I took that step. And it's still scary, but I think, when you have that curiosity about entrepreneurship and that kind of hunger for what's more for you, then it kind of becomes easier to say, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go for it, and we're going to figure it out. So yeah, it's about a year ago.
Happy anniversary for being a full-time entrepreneur. It's obviously working out well for you. And I want to know, how did you have the courage to actually rip the Band-Aid off and say, okay, I don't need my corporate salary anymore. I am going to be good enough to be able to make money on my own.
That was really hard because, as you know, when you climb the ladder, you're typically getting a higher salary every time. And that's one of your biggest goals when you work in corporate. And so for me, I was so proud of the work that I put in. And I'd worked at a lot of, toxic companies and had a lot of toxic situations, but it was always like, oh, I have this, this consistency of a paycheck. And so that was one of the biggest things that held me back for a while, because I had been thinking about leaving and starting a business for a few months, but I was always just scared that I wouldn't make any money. And so, for me, it started out really slowly. And so I had to encourage myself all the time. Like, you can do this. It's going to be slow at first. And one of the things that I did in the very beginning was kind of workshop my skills and my experience. And I literally took this giant whiteboard and I wrote down, these are all the things that I'm really good at and that I really enjoy doing. These are the things that I'm not good at. And, also wrote down the things that maybe I'm good at, but I don't enjoy doing, that I don't want to bring with me to my next role. And so I really did workshop myself because I couldn't find anything else out there. And I was like, I have the skills to make this work, but the courage part was missing for a while. And I think after kind of getting out there, after having conversations, and also, looking at other incredible female entrepreneurs who did it and made it work, I realized like courage kind of comes in the form of taking some messy action and going for those scary moments. And so I think for me, I didn't have it right away, but I think making the decision, it's like, okay, now I can do this. I feel a little bit more empowered. And so I think it comes to you little by little, but the first step is always going to be the scariest.
So I'd love to talk to you more about the Happy Marketing Company. We're at anniversary year 1.
Yeah.
Talk to us more about your mission, the purpose, the kind of customers that you are currently working with or would like to work with, all the things?
Yeah. So, like I said, I've been working in marketing for all of my career. I started as a journalist, so content has been a big part of that. And I also learned a lot about SEO and how to scale a business organically, get people on Google, get my own company on Google. And so, when I first started the Happy Marketing Co., I did all the things. I wore all the hats, social media, email marketing, website SEO. And I was like, I just need to do all of this because that's what is going to make me successful. What I learned is like, yes, I had a lot of clients come in the first couple of months, but I kind of went from having one boss to 5. And so then I was like, what do I really want to do? I'm going to circle back to that. And now, I think it took me about 6 months to figure out what I really wanted to do in the company. So now I really offer business consulting as a whole for growth, but a lot of SEO and website work. So SEO is search engine optimization. And basically it's just helping your business get on Google, on the first page of Google, gain visibility, all of that. And I know it's kind of technical. A lot of people are like, what is SEO? Like I've heard of it, but I have no idea. But I love it because I think there's a stigma about websites, especially now with social media, but a website is just so important. So that's what I typically offer with my clients is they come in and I audit their website. Sometimes I design a website from scratch, but I just really help my clients scale. And I love working with all clients, but I would say I mostly work with service providers, a lot of coaches, entrepreneurs, but people who own yoga studios and who are dietitians and gut health practitioners. I also work with a lot of CPG brands. So food and beverage products, skincare, supplements. That's kind of my sweet spot because I have a lot of experience in that in my past. So yeah, mostly CPG brands and service providers, but SEO is really meant for every type of business. So I kind of serve a lot of different, mostly female entrepreneurs. So yeah, it's kind of a nerdy role, SEO and the technical side of Google, but I love it. And it's just really fun to see my clients grow and get on Google and all the things. So
I'd love to talk about SEO more because I've taken one of your workshops and it was fantastic. So next time she offers those, run. I
yeah.
learned so much from you in that hour's time, and I had no idea. I mean, when you say marketing, sometimes you think of, okay,
Mhm.
social media or email marketing list or having, website, but then you get into the SEO space, and that's completely unknown to a lot of people, but there's a lot of power behind it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And so you were in the podcast SEO course or the workshop, and it's like SEO can be translated into so many different areas of marketing. And I think a lot of times people think like SEO and website, which is number one. I would say like because Google is the number one search engine in the world, you want to make sure that you have a website, that it's optimized. And basically what that means is having keywords in there. What are your customers searching for to find a product or service like yours? And so it's kind of simplifying that. And, again, like auditing a website to say, like, looking at your performance, I can tell that there's a gap in your target audience, or there's just not a lot of traffic coming to your website. So website is a part of it, but also with keywords, people are searching for things on social media. They're also looking at podcasts, which you and I are pretty new into having a podcast, but just think about everyone's looking for a solution or a product or some kind of value in their life. And so they're going to search for that no matter where they're at, whether that's social media, looking in Apple Podcasts for something to listen to or on Google on a website. And so SEO is so powerful and it is a little bit technical, but I like to break it down in these workshops. So it's like, let's focus on SEO for one area. And podcast was so much fun because it's like, we get to share our stories, but we also provide value in the episode. So just getting the right people to find all of that value and to find your content and your resources, no matter where you're hosting that. So yeah, I mean, SEO is so important, but it's really cool to kind of optimize things and then just see an influx of people kind of come your way, which I know you said it helped your podcast already. So it's kind of fun to watch the numbers.
It definitely did because I downloaded the programs you suggested and then I added the tags and I saw my numbers go up significantly and I had no clue even who
Yeah.
did tags. So like,
Yeah. Oh, I love that so much. It's so fun. Like, I just love getting those messages of like, it worked. Like, I got a new client or, I'm getting a lot of new listeners. It's just so fun for me. And that's why I do what I do. So
what's been the best outside resource to you that's helped you most as an entrepreneur?
Yeah. Oh, it's hard to choose one, but I would say, being in marketing, I have all the technical tools, and on my computer and that I use every single day. But I think community has been huge for me because going from corporate, managing a team, having a boss, having customers, all the things to becoming an entrepreneur, you kind of feel like you're completely, alone in it. And you feel like all of a sudden you're on this island of entrepreneurship and you don't know who to talk to about it or if anyone else out there is going through what you are. And so I found a community. I'm in Denver, Colorado. So I found a local community and, just meeting other women who are like, yeah, I've had my business for 5-10 years, or I'm in the first year of business. It was just so cool to connect and ask questions. And now I feel like we get to do it together rather than just being in a silo where you're like, I'm just figuring it out by myself. And so I definitely think community and people help you, answer those big questions and get you out of your head too. So I think that's been really important for me.
So what advice would you give to a female leader who's in corporate America, who has an idea or is ready to take the leap to go out on their own?
Yeah, I would ask if I was looking back at kind of my experience and also what I've learned in this past year, I would say, like, what is making you curious about what else is out there? Is it your current job? Are you feeling unfulfilled? Is it a toxic situation? Or just have you always wanted to go on that journey and start a business? So I'd kind of start with the why of why you're curious about it. And then kind of like I did, I mean, I would workshop everything that you're interested in because you can create a business, especially in 2024, about anything that interests you. I mean, I've seen, millionaires on Instagram who have a garden course, right? It's like you just never know what can make you successful or can, separate you from every business else out there. And so I would say, like, workshop what you are really passionate about and not just in your business life, right? Like, what do you love to do that you could talk about all day, any day? And that can help you turn it into a business. And sometimes you're going to have services or products that, are pretty like straightforward, like I do with marketing, but also you can have fun with it because I never thought, oh, I'm going to have a workshop for SEO for podcasts, right? It's kind of fun for me, but it also combines my experience. So I would say workshop that and see like what you're really interested in. And then make sure you have people around you who support your journey, whether you're on day 1 or year 5 and you're trying to figure out how to take your side hustle to the next level. I would just make sure you're surrounded by a community. A mentor is always helpful to kind of get you out of your head, but also I would go for it. I mean, if you've been struggling with this for a while, whether to take action or not, I did, and I don't regret anything that I've done in my career, but I would say like the first step is going to be the hardest. And once you get over that and you go for it and you commit to it, it gets so much easier. And you realize this is why I've been passionate about this for so long. And it just gets easier. And you get to realize like, this is why I've been thinking about it for years or for months or whatever. And so you just have to go for it.
I love that. So as we wrap up, how can our listeners find you?
Yeah. So if you're interested in SEO or business growth, all the things, my Instagram is The Happy Marketing Co. You can also find me on my website, thehappymarketing.co. And then I do have a personal brand where I just love connecting with female entrepreneurs and people who, are just excited about making that transition or who have a business or who listen to the podcast. So you can find me there at thelindsay.may. But I just love connecting with people. So feel free to send me a DM.
Thanks, Lindsay.
Thank you so much.